Welcome to McQueen's Body Shop. Today we are going to do a seated yoga series. So this is intended for a luteal phase workout. So very low intensity, nice and relaxing. It's also great to do if you're in your follicular phase and you've done an intense workout and you want a nice recovery day. So you will need your mat, you will need a belt. If you don't have a belt, you can use a scarf, a t-shirt, it really doesn't matter. We don't need the special binding mechanism that this has today. So anything that can substitute, any cloth thing will be perfectly fine. So we are going to just start in a child's pose. That's a great way to start a yoga practice. So we're going to come onto our knees, which are going to be a little wider than our hips. Toes are together. And coming down into your child's pose here. Starting to inhale deeply and exhale deeply. Going at your own pace, maybe starting to expand that breath as you get comfortable in this pose. You can also have your hands down at your sides, but I always prefer this way because then I can get a nice upper back stretch as well. Take a few more inhales at your own pace. Really starting to breathe into the body, maybe getting a little bit deeper into your child's pose, kind of wedging your chest and upper body further between those legs, getting the back even flatter, putting some energy into the shoulder blades and the arms and the hands as you stretch them outward. Take one more inhale and exhale. And we're going to come on to all fours here with a couple of cat and cows. Hands are directly beneath the shoulders. Spine starts in neutral, toes are tucked under, and we are going to inhale, arch the back, look up at the sky. And exhale, tuck the tailbone under, spreading those shoulder blades out. Inhale, tilt the pelvis upwards. And exhale, tucking the tailbone under. Doing a few more of these at your own pace, inhaling to look up. And exhale for your cat. Really starting to feel the core and the center of the body warming up here. Getting nice and agile and limber as we prepare for the body of our practice, the bulk of our practice. And let's do one more, looking up. And exhale. And release, coming into a neutral spine here. So we're not arching and we're not tucking. We're nice in the middle, a natural curve in that spine. And from here, once you feel nice and secure in this, tabletop pose, you are going to reach out the left arm in front of you and the right leg back behind you, okay? Now, if this is too much, you can leave this back leg propped up on the ground as kind of a little kickstand to help you balance, okay? But I'm going to raise mine. Once you have it raised, you are going to inhale and exhale. Bring the elbow and the knee in together towards the stomach and the chest. Inhale to extend. And exhale. Bringing them together. Let's do one more. Inhale, extend. And exhale, contract. Placing both palm and foot on, and knee onto the mat. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So reaching up that right arm and then the left leg, counterbalancing one another. And it's okay to just hold here if the motion is too much for you. Inhale, And exhale, bringing the elbow and knee together. Inhale, extend outward. And exhale, bringing them together. Really feel your core engage here as you do one more, extending out. And exhale, coming back into all fours. Now from here, you can stay facing forward on your mat. I'm going to face you so you can see me a little bit better. So coming onto your knees, you are going to extend the right foot out in front of you, or your left foot, whichever one you want to start with. Out at a 45-degree angle, okay? So you're not directly squared off and you're not all the way out to the side. You're right in the middle, okay? Ankle is directly below the knee. And from here, you are going to just sort of tilt the body forward and backward, okay? You can even spread the toes out a little bit further so you have some more depth here, more range, if you have more flexible hips, okay, and thighs. So we're just getting the inner thighs and the backs of the thighs nice and warm here. When you're ready, when this feels good, you can bring it into a circle, okay? If this is hurting your knee, please feel free to do any of this on a blanket. That is a perfectly fine adjustment that you can make. And then we're going to switch directions with that circle. So bringing the knee out and then back in line. Knee out, back in line. Making sure you never want your knee to go over your toes. So if you're flexible here and you can really get low, you want to bring the foot further away from you so that your knee is not tracking over your toes. And let's finish off with that and come back to center. Now from here, you are going to bring this same lifted leg around to the side of you, okay? Leg is extended straight. Other leg is bent, and then your weight is directly above this standing leg here. Toes are facing forward, okay? So my toes are facing the camera right now. My foot is parallel to the edge of my mat. From here, you are actually going to lean back and sit down onto your heel, and then come back to kneeling, okay? Now, if this is too much on your knee, you can have your weight here on the floor. And this actually is feeling better for me. I have a left knee injury, so I'm actually going to do this. If you have blocks, you can stack the blocks here and, put your weight on them that way, okay? So we are just getting this thigh. You should be feeling a little bit of heat now. Okay. And let's just do one more. And coming back to our kneeling position, lifting up the chest again. We are going to run our hand along the leg here. And then if you feel comfortable, stretching out your opposite hand above you and bringing and bending the elbow that's resting on the extended leg. So you should feel a nice stretch all along here. If this is too much, you can drop the arm and just stay as such and have the hand on the hip. But if you want that deeper stretch here, you can absolutely extend the arm overhead. Try to make sure that your shoulder isn't coming up into your ear. That can happen easily in this pose. Take one or two more breaths here. And release. From here, you are going to start to track your weight over towards the side, okay, to the other side. So now you want your hand directly below your shoulder. Whoops, I hit my mic. I hope that wasn't a very unpleasant noise that I just made. So from here, you can stay like this, okay, if this is enough, because we're starting to engage in balance here. If you feel comfortable, flex the foot and lift up that leg, okay? Foot is flexed, leg is straight. And if this feels really great and you want to take it one more step, you can actually bend the knee, bringing that foot behind you, and reach back and grab the foot with that outstretched hand. Now, from here, you want to actually, if you're doing this, you want to point your foot and then really sort of force your thigh to come forward. So you're actually working by pressing against your hand to get your thigh to move forward. Just breathe. And when you are ready, slowly release and come out the same way you came in, lowering that leg and bringing yourself back to your kneeling position. We're going to switch sides, so you probably feel very uneven at this point. That's okay, we're going to even ourselves out. So, other leg now is going to extend out in front of you, knee is bent, 45-degree angle away from you. And for me, I have a little more flexibility here. I'm actually going to track my foot out a little further so I can come backwards and forwards, just really starting to warm up this leg here, especially the back of the thigh and the inner thigh. Once you feel comfortable here, you can start making those circles again. Okay, so it's more of like a half circle because you're circling out and then straight back. I don't want you to bring the knee inward like that, okay? You're going out and then straight line back. Out, straight line back. Again, you always have the option of doing this on a blanket. I actually kind of wish I had my blanket with me right now. It's not the most comfortable to be on your resting on your kneecaps all the time. And let's switch directions with our circle. So whichever way you were going, just switch the direction. So you're going the opposite way now. And by the way, any women out there who are pregnant, this is a very safe exercise to do. This entire series is very safe to do while you are pregnant. If you are a little further along, like 8 or 9 months, you might find some discomfort in some of the poses, but none of them are actually harmful or going to be dangerous in any way. It's just sometimes baby can get in the way and it makes things a little bit harder for us. And coming back to center. Now we are going to extend that leg out to the side, just like we did on the other side. Foot is pointing, toes are pointing straight out in front of you. Okay. Now, you're going to run, oh, no, I'm sorry, I forgot to do our little back and forths here. So I really liked having the support of the floor in front of me, so I'm going to do that again, okay? So we're coming from this position, and we are sitting back onto our heel and coming back to the original position. So this should be a nice fluid movement here. You should feel the supporting thigh really engage to help you come forward, but also sitting down onto the back heel. Heel should be directly straight out behind you. And you can do that if you have really strong thighs and you're feeling great today, you can do this without the support of the floor. It's up to you. And then coming back to center, lifting the chest up again. We're going to run the hand along the sides of the leg. And if you'd like, you can stay here. If you want a little extra, you can extend that other arm out and above your head. Trying not to, bring the chest forward. We're actually working to open up the chest. So, and you might only be here, okay? You might not be down this far. That's perfectly fine. But you do want to work more on opening the chest up towards the sky, as opposed to sinking it forward towards the floor. Again, I was doing this without even realizing, you can easily get that shoulder towards the ear and you want to draw it away. So bending the elbow can actually really help with that. And inhaling to come out whenever you are ready. And same thing, other side. Now we are going to bring our weight to the other side. Hand is directly beneath the shoulder. And we are going to flex the foot and raise that leg, okay? And this might be too much. You might want to keep your foot down for support, but if you feel like you can hold this balance pose, please feel free to do so. You can have strength in this leg. You can probably start to feel it as you leave it up here. And then if you did it on the first side, I suggest doing it again on this side. We are going to bend this knee and reach the hand around to grab. Now, it's a different side. It might feel very different than the other side did. That's very normal. Again, you are pressing your thigh and your knee forward. So it's sort of a counteracting pose. You're pressing the foot into the hand to get your knee to come more forward. Take a few breaths here, staying strong. And slowly release, coming back out same way we came in, and coming down. Back to center, drawing that knee. And now we are actually going to come to a fully seated position. So you're going to want to have your legs outstretched in front of you, like so. Now, it's tempting if you're flexible to get your legs as wide as you possibly can. That's not the goal here. We actually want to make it so that if you're looking at your legs, it creates a very nice 90-degree angle. So like an L shape right here. Now, if you want to sit on a blanket, you can do so. That will help elevate the sit bones and keep the back straight. Okay, from here, we are going to direct our chest towards one of our legs, okay? Feet are both flexed. You're going to, maybe if you'd like, you can use your hands to really prop up your chest. Inhale here. And exhale, folding forward over the leg that our chest is directed towards, okay? Now, I'm a bit tight here. Some of you might be able to get your nose to the ground. That's amazing. Some of you might be here. Wherever you are at, I just want you to challenge yourself today. So that's going to look different for every person. So, and really starting to relax here, letting yourself melt into this pose. For each inhale, stabilizing ourselves. And then as we exhale, you might be able to find that you can melt over and bend over even a little bit deeper. And inhale to come up nice and slow when you're ready. And now staying on this side, we're going to track our chest forward again, not towards the leg. And we are going to run our hand inside of this same leg that we started with. Chest is going to be lifted. You might want to stay here, but you want to work on tracking the chest towards the ceiling. If you can, and you have some increased flexibility here, raise that arm overhead. Now you should feel both an oblique stretch in your side, but also a back of the leg stretch. Focusing on the breath again. Whenever you get distracted, just always go back to the breath. Inhale, coming back to center. And now from here, we are going to use our hands to lift ourselves up, bring our chest towards the other leg this time, the other thigh. Now bringing the chest towards our other thigh this time, using the hands to lift ourselves up. Inhale, and then exhale, bringing our chest over the other thigh this time. Now you might find that you can bring your hands to your feet if you'd like. I actually like having my hands on the floor to help support me. It's entirely up to you. And again, just really using the exhalation to melt into this pose. Just breathing here. And when you're ready, inhale to come back up. And now just like on the other side, we are going to track the arm down the inner thigh. And if you want to stay here, you can. Again, you're focusing on lifting that chest up towards the sky. And then if you can, reach and extend that arm upwards and reach it overhead. Again, fighting so that we're not bringing our chest down. That's very easy to do that and tempting to do that. You want to fight to have that chest open towards the sky. If you need to bring your arm down to do that, then bring your arm down. That's the most important aspect of this pose. Now you should feel a nice oblique stretch and also the thigh stretch. And inhale, slowly coming on up out of that pose. And now we are going to bring our legs together. I'm going to turn to be on my mat again so you can see me from the side. In line with my mat, I should say. Now, normally you would just do this pose seated. If you would like the support of a blanket, you can have one under your sit bones. That helps people who have a tight lower back where it's hard for them to sit up straight in this pose. Legs are together. You can use your hands to kind of untuck your tailbone and bring it back a little bit, and that way you kind of help keep the back straight. Inhale the arms up overhead, and exhale, you're going to hinge forward at your hips, and when you can no longer hinge from the hips, then you fold forward, bringing the chest down towards the thighs. Now you might be here, okay, that's perfectly fine. You might be here. You might very well be able to go much further than me and have, your arms on the ground and have your chest completely flat against your legs. Whatever works for you. Now you probably feel a little bit tight in this pose. This is, especially if you have, tighter hamstrings. This can be a very, it can be a bit uncomfortable actually. But as you relax the breath and you just kind of let yourself fall into this pose, it gets much easier. You feel less strain. And using each exhalation to get a little bit deeper into this pose. We're actually going to come into this again, so you might find the second time you do it, you have a little more flexibility here. So we're going to come out of this pose now, nice and slow. And if you're able to access this, I want you to take one of your feet and bend the knee, wrap that foot behind you, okay? So your foot should be to the sides of your glute, okay? Other leg is straight. Now, if you wanted to stay here, you can, okay? This is still gonna stretch this leg. But if you're able, we're going to go down again into sort of that same Paschimottanasana we did, but with just the one leg. So inhale the arms up, overhead, back is flat. Exhale, hinge forward, and then fold over that leg. Now, I find that I sort of tilt to the side here, so I'm gonna use my hand, same leg that's extended, I'm gonna use that hand to shift so that my belly button is centered in between my two thighs. And hold it here. Going deeper if you can. Doing whatever you need for your body today. You might find over time you don't need this prop. You might not need it at all in the beginning, but I certainly do, so I will use it. And slowly come on out. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So slowly straighten that bent leg. And now we're going to wrap the other leg around to the side this time. Knee is pointing straight forward. Foot is out to the side of the leg. Foot is flexed over the straight leg. Inhale the arms up. And exhale, hinge forward and then fold. This side, for whatever reason, I'm able to stay propped up in the middle more easily, so I don't need this arm out to the side like I do for my other side. So it's just kind of interesting to notice the asymmetry that our body can have sometimes. Knowing that, you do something on one side and it feels a lot easier or more difficult than the other side that you tried it on. Taking a few more breaths here. And then slowly come on out. Now let's even ourselves out by doing Paschimottanasana one more time. So both legs straight out in front of you. Sit bones are back. Chest is lifted, back is straight. Inhale the arms up. And exhale, hinge forward, and then fold when you can no longer hinge. Fighting to keep the legs straight here and the feet flexed. Using the breath to try to relax here. You might find you can go a little bit further than you could the first time you did this pose. And slowly come on out of that. All right, now we're just going to do a seated twist, nice and simple. We're coming towards the end of our seated series today here. So you are going to bend one of your legs, doesn't matter which, and then you are going to wrap the other leg bent underneath, okay? Actually, okay. Let me start over. So I'm going to turn to face you, but you can stay where you are. We're going to do a seated twist. We're coming towards the end of our practice here. So with one leg out straight, you're going to cross a bent knee over that straight leg. Then once you have both sit bones on the ground here, you're going to bend that straight leg and wrap it around, okay? So now you want to fight to get both of your sit bones on the ground here, okay? I'm actually having a little bit of difficulty with that. I'm a little tight in my thighs today. Once you're here and you are comfortable and you feel solid in this pose, you are going to, so the leg that's crossed over, the opposite arm is going to inhale up, and exhale, you're going to twist and take that elbow to the opposite side of that leg. You can use this hand to help prop yourself up from behind and really straighten that back. Now, as you're twisting, when you exhale, you can find that your twist can deepen a little bit further. So inhale to straighten the back, and exhale, twist a bit deeper. Staying here for a few breaths, really making sure that your back is straight and you're not hunching over. Inhale to straighten, exhale to bend further. And release, coming out of that nice and slow. Same thing, other side. So straighten both of the legs. Take the other knee this time, bend it and cross the foot over that straight leg. Wrap this leg around. and come to sit on both of these sit bones back here. Foot is flat on the ground to the side of you. Once you are here, you are going to inhale the arm up, the opposite arm of this bent leg, and exhale, twist, and prop that elbow to the other side of that thigh. Again, you want to inhale and straighten the back, lift the chest. And as you exhale, deepen your twist further. Take a few more breaths here. Again, every time you inhale, you straighten further. And every time you exhale, you deepen your twist. Looking a little bit further behind you. And slowly release, coming out of that. Now here you are going to want your belt, finally, or your t-shirt or your scarf, whatever you have on hand. And we're gonna come to our back. So let's do a log roll. Knees are bent out to the side, coming down onto our side. Grab my belt. And coming onto our backs here. Now, once on your back, you're going to extend the legs straight out. Make some adjustments so that you feel nice and comfortable here. Then taking your belt, you are going to wrap this around the ball of your foot, okay? Straighten that foot out, that leg out in front of you. You might be flexible enough to not need the belt and you can actually like grab your foot with your hand. I'm not there today, so I'm gonna use my belt. Now, from here, both legs are straight, feet are flexed. And as you exhale, you can gently pull on that rope, on that belt, not too forcefully, but just enough to deepen this stretch along the back of the leg even further. And then as you're ready, you're going to bring this out to the side. And you'll find you might get a nice little stretch in the inner thigh here. Taking a few breaths. And coming back to center. I'm actually don't do what I'm doing right now, stay where you are. I'm gonna scooch a little bit closer to you because otherwise my leg will hit the wall. So from back to center, we are going to actually now extend the leg over, cross it over the midline of the body. Okay, you should really feel this on the outside of the thigh. I know I do. A few more breaths here. And back to center. Unloop your foot from that belt. Now same thing other side. Again, placing this just around the ball of the foot. Now our leg is straight here, foot is flexed. Taking a few breaths. And then as you feel comfortable, adding a little bit of pressure to kind of pull the belt closer to you, which pulls your foot forward a little bit this way. Deepens the stretch along the back of the leg. And now I'm going to bring this out to the side, just like we did before. Opening up the hips, getting an inner thigh stretch. Taking a few more breaths. And coming back to center. Now we're just going to cross the foot over the midline of the body. Whatever's comfortable for you. We tend to be very tight in the outsides of the calf and the hamstring. So you might not be able to go very far across that midline. Some people might be able to go, really far. You want this sit bone though to stay grounded on your mat. So we're not doing one of those twists where your hip comes up off the floor. And come back to center. Release nice and slowly. You can put your belt to the side. We are done and we're coming to the end here. We just want to even ourselves out with a nice happy baby. So knees are bent. You can grab your flexed foot either on the outside of the foot, like so, or you can grab on the inside if that's more accessible to you. Knees are bent and the thighs are sort of wrapping around the outsides of the rib cage here. And you can slowly rock back and forth. Just feeling nice and relaxed and fluid, it's almost like you get a little back massage by doing this, which is really nice. And then coming to center. From here, this is a great time to come into Shavasana. So if you have time, stay in this lying position. Take a few minutes and just, open up the palms. You can keep the knees bent or you can straighten the legs out and just take a few minutes in Shavasana. I'm going to come up nice and slowly to end our practice today. But again, please do the Shavasana if you have time. It is essential for a well-rounded yoga practice. Well, I hope that stretching series really helped to open things up, let you relax a little bit, maybe recover from some of the workouts you've been doing. Hands together in prayer. Namaste.